over to the YouTube streets, but appreciate everybody that's here over on the playback. Let's see who we got here this morning. Matty Harrison's up in here. Sneeps. We got Bottomine, Ricardo, Matic Auto, Biggest is here. Gang's all here, up and early on a Tuesday. We are officially live on YouTube, which is good news. So if you're over on YouTube, come on over. We are back-to-back days. Summer League t-shirts, baby. That's right. We wore one on Monday. We got another one fired up today because we are fired up for playback. Jesus, first Summer League. I feel like I've talked about it ad nauseum at this point, but we are back out there on Thursday to Monday, riding high. We got a lot of fun stuff planned. We're going to be over. We're going to check out the No Dunk Show. We got a little happy hour action. We got the Consigliere. Looks like he got bullied into coming. We got Patrick Coyne's going to be out there. He's in the chat this morning. I think we should bully Matic Auto too. He's in the chat. Let's get him there. We got Bottomine here, ready for those Euro. Wait, your Euro semis tomorrow, right? What do we got? France and Spain today, England and the Netherlands tomorrow. So that'll be fun. Snoop Loop in the chat. Good to see you as well, sir. But yeah, we will. We'll talk more about Summer League towards the end of the show as we get ready. To depart to or embark on Vegas. Oh, T-Man Baller in the chat too. There we go. Sight for sore eyes, T-Man Baller. Here's what we got going on today. This is a hype show, overreaction hype show today, okay? We're going to talk a little Summer League. We're going to talk a little Zach LaVine, a little Paul George, and a little Cooper Flagg. That's what we're going to do. Should we start with Summer League? Is that where we should get? Oh, also, we should do a couple housekeeping before we get into Summer League. We'll still have some form of a show tomorrow. No NBA bid in the morning. We'll do something in the afternoon. We'll have a little afternoon hang, maybe a happy hour action thing. And then no NBA bid on Thursday, on Friday, on Monday, or on Tuesday. Because I think I'm taking a red eye back. So the content will resume on Wednesday for your regularly scheduled stuff. Snoop Loop asked if we're going to talk about Bronny. No, not today. No Bronny talk. Jimmy Peacock's up early in the West Coast. Love to see that. Love to see that. All right, we're going to watch some videos today, I think. We're going to watch some videos. I want to fire up a couple highlights here from our friends over at the House of Highlights. And I think we'll watch some Zach Edey highlights first. I think that's what we're going to do and let me hit you with some stats before we fully watch this video, okay? Because listen, you already know I bought deep into the Memphis Grizzlies hype, okay? I'm ready for it. I think they're going to be good this year. Zach Edey comes out there, all right, and he balled out in 34 minutes, little double-double action. He actually out-Walker Kesslered Walker Kessler with 14 points, 15 boards, 4 blocks of his own. Scottie Pippen Jr. dropped 21. LaRavia with 18 and he had 7 personal fouls, by the way. That's the fun thing about Summer League. You can foul the fuck out of people if you want. You just hack away, okay? Hack away. 7 personal fouls between for LaRavia and Scottie Pippen. Incredible stuff. But I want to read you Keontae George's line. You guys know I'm a Keontae George stan, okay? We drafted him a lot in best ball last year. I think he's going to have a really good year this year, especially assuming – where did Clarkson go, by the way? Is Clarkson still technically on the Jazz? We got Clarkson and Sexton probably on the move. Listen to this line from Keontae George last night. 30 points, 4 boards, 4 assists. That sounds pretty good, right? 34-4 in a Summer League game? Must have been balling. He went 5 for 21 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3, and then went to the line 19 times, knocking down 17 of them. That's DeJounte Murray against the Celtics energy. Remember that? He scored 44 points on 44 shots. That's what we were seeing. All right, enough yip yap about this. My mic might go out a little. My mic might go in and out a little bit when we start playing the video. That sometimes happens. But let's see what we got here from the Edey machine.
A lot smaller than his dad, but able to find his own space on that pull-up. George felt pressure.
Wow. Big boy.
Not tonight. Pippen on the break with 2 hands.
Look at this.
So we get a taste of Edey early.
I love this Edey fit, guys. I know it's Summer League.
Back in 22. Hendricks.
Nope.
Tied up by Edey. And now there's who lost it?
Well, he was fatigued, but they did it on purpose.
I know it's Summer League, and they're not playing against the actual pros.
He tested, made good decisions.
But man, if Memphis can get just 18 minutes from him a game.
Through the hands of Walker.
Yeah, this is.
Timeout quickly off the bench.
Bottovine says he likes the camera angle. Also, is my mic okay right now? People saying they like the camera angle. That is, that reminds me. You ever try, like, back in the day, or maybe it's still like this, if you didn't have cable and you tried to watch TNT online and you can't watch the actual feed that they give you, but they'll just throw some random cameras out there that you can. It's like, oh, from the angle of the backboard, you can watch the game. That's what this angle reminds me of.
Sean Sheldon.
All right, back to
Edie gets an easy put down. Filipowski, Euro step. How about that pass?
Yeah, how about that pass? Doesn't matter because Edie is a monster.
Picked up by Memphis. Heads up play by the Grizzlies. No look pass. Edie wide open.
Oh, wide open. Wide open, throws it down. Imagine that coming from John Morant now.
Arabia drops it to Edie.
This is a great, I think this is it. Oh, no. There's a highlight coming where Edie gets stuffed and then just dunks it on him.
Right on his hip. Banks down low inside, hooks it up, right hand.
Flash. Flash.
For Kessler, who played his college ball at Auburn. Inside, Walker denies, but not the second time. That is wicked.
I want to get to the end of the game here. This is misses the putback. Incredible sequence. I love that this made the clip. This is an easy putback off the Pippen Jr. But then I don't know how many people watch this game because I don't know who's watching Summer League. Ready? Down 2, under a second left. The tip in for the tie, baby! Oh, Canada. Although he's not playing for Canada this Olympics. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff from the Edie machine.
A run of challenge tonight. Arabia switches out.
And then I didn't know, for those that aren't seeing it, they have a Elam ending on this, so they just go to a target score in overtime. Isn't that blocked? Like an adult against a kid.
Inside, little slip.
Nope.
Blocked. Edie got it.
All right, there we go. Those are some Edie highlights from last night. Fun stuff there. So I don't know. I kind of like it. I know you can't really overreact too much, right? Like, these are the guys playing last night for the Jazz: Kessler, Sensabaugh, Cody Williams, Taylor Hendricks, Keontae George. Like, of course, that's not too spicy. Somebody named Jay Wells for the Grizzlies was playing. So whatever. Let's do Philly OKC quickly too, because there was a couple of things to talk about. Not really a couple of things to talk about, but I just want to shout out our guy Ricky Council Quattro. Ricky Council the fourth put up 29 points in 28 minutes, going 9 for 18 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, 6 for 7 from the line. Also had 8 boards as well. How about a little Ricky Council love, huh? I didn't mean to close out of that tab because I was going to see if we had, I think we could get some Ricky Council highlights here. Because, so Council, we did see him get some minutes for the Sixers down the stretch. And I don't know how much of a real player he's going to be for the Sixers this year. But, I mean, the Sixers have some depth issues. So he got 29. Also, Jared McCain, the rook, who is going to get some run here for the Sixers. He got some love last night. He dropped 16 points, I think, or 15. It looks like it's 15. Let's see some Jared McCain action, shall we?
Yeah,
you are.
Another wild camera angle, huh? Also, if you're watching on YouTube, come on over to Playback. There's a link pinned into the chat. I do think McCain, I mean, of course the Sixers think he can help because he's their first-round pick, the guy to Duke, right? But Philly, having guys like Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid, they just really need some shooting around him, right? And so if he's able to come out there, stretch the floor a little bit, just making it easier for Maxey and Embiid to play the two-man game. You have Paul George stretch the floor a little bit, McCain. I feel like this could be a real nice, underrated addition from McCain. And I don't know, like, how much they need from him, you know? It's not like they need him to go out there and score 25. But if he could do what Buddy Hield was supposed to do and just knock down shots, I don't know. I feel like that could be pretty spicy. That could be pretty spicy. Also, is my audio okay? Can you guys hear my mic all right? I know sometimes it gets a little funky. Also, if this is your first time in the playback rooms, do me a favor, join the room. All right, thanks, guys. There we go. So there's some McCain love. McCain dropped 16. Let's go back. Let's look at Ricky Council. Freaking 29 points. Wild. 29 points was wild from that guy in 28 minutes.
Beautiful slip and slide. Ricky. It's actually really impressed with both teams on their ability to run plays. And not
Just
take for a shot.
let me pull up the Sixers current roster right now to see who we've got on here.
Draw and kick. Council leaves it outside. Good look. 15-footer.
All right, here we go. So the Sixers roster currently: Joel Embiid, George, Maxey, Martin, Oubre. Then they got Drummond, McCain, Gordon, Council, and Justin Edwards is on a two-way. So I really do like. That's only 10 players, which is kind of crazy. If they can get just a little something from McCain and Council, so they're not relying on Eric Gordon, I think that could go a long way. I think that could go a long way for this team. And again, Council knocking down triples. That's the other thing, right? What did he go? 5 for 10 from 3? Again, just guys that can come out there, play 18 to 22 minutes off the bench. So you're not, killing Paul George in the regular season with minutes, because we know Paul George is an injury risk, right? Look at that deep triple from the Council. All right, there we go. We'll call it there for the Ricky Council highlights, 29 points. But yeah, that is a good sign for Philly, I think. That is a good sign for Philly. We're not going to overreact too much for Summer League, but it is not I don't like to point out, oh, this guy sucks in Summer League, because it's like scrimmages. But when someone goes out there, shows that they can stretch the floor, or like what Edie was doing, setting some big boy screens out there last night, I think that's a good sign. And Philly just desperate for just role players to be able to contribute to make them a legit team again. So they're not like overutilizing their stars in the regular season, because if there is an issue with the Sixers, it's like, yeah, Joel Embiid, there's health, right? If the Sixers are fully healthy and ready to go, they're a top 2 team, maybe top 3 team in the East, right? Like a true contender. But you're just relying on Embiid to be healthy, on Paul George to stay healthy. Like Paul George, played, 72 games last year. You actually got a healthy season out. When's the last time he played back-to-back seasons like that, Speaking of Paul George, though, so I don't know how many of you guys watched this clip. We're going to watch the full 4-minute clip, because I thought it was pretty interesting, and I'm going to be quiet for most of this clip, because we can talk about it after. But talked a little bit about the contract negotiations, and I thought a lot of the reactions after the fact were interesting from people, and I'll be curious what the chat thinks about this. But I thought also I got to put some more respect on Paul George's podcast. I feel like I need to listen to it a little bit more. I don't know if any of you guys listen to it. He seems like he does a really good job. I always enjoy the clips when I see them, but I never watch a full episode. But anyways, this is going to be Paul George for, again, it's like a 4-minute clip or so, talking, and I'm going to mute my mic, talking about the contract negotiations he had with the Clippers that led to him eventually deciding to enter free agency and then inevitably sign that deal with the 76ers. So here we go. Paul George, take it away.
What was the negotiations like with the Clippers to let you know that, hey, I'm leaving y'all and I'm going to Philly?
Just to put it out there, I never wanted to leave LA. LA is home. This is where I wanted to finish at. I wanted to work as hard as possible to win one in LA. That was the goal, to be here and be committed to LA. As it played out, though, the first initial deal was, I thought, kind of disrespectful, right? And again, in all of this, no hard feelings. So the first initial deal was 2 years, 60. So I'm like, whoa.
Hey, that's crazy.
Okay, hold on real quick. Just in case you missed that. The first deal the Clippers offered was 2 years, 60, which, I mean, I had not heard that. I had not heard that anywhere. And you're saying he scoffs at $60 million. That's pretty crazy. 2 years for 60 is pretty nuts for Paul George, who, again, was basically just missed out on all NBA. I get what you're saying, man. But that's that's nuts. That's nuts in my opinion. It should not be. That's a crazy offer. Stan, are you trying to come on stage right now, Stan? You trying to add some insight there on Heat culture? So anyways, let's go. Let's go back to this. He's going to explain it a little bit more. But 2 years, 60, the initial offer from the Clips.
Crazy, bro.
That's great.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy.
So I'm like,
Wow.
no, I'm not signing that. This was maybe like October-ish. Negotiations first started, and it was 260. And as we kept going, it was like,
Sorry, pause it one more time. So for just a reminder, James Harden just got 2 years 70, right? Or is it 2 years 35? I thought it was 35 mil per year. So just, putting that out there.
They would go up, inches, to where it was like 44, 45, right? But this was like a couple months in between before we got it to 40 something. I'm still like, nah, I'm not doing that. Then I hear wind of like, what they're going to give Kawhi. So I'm like, just give me what Kawhi got. Like,
Right.
y'all view us the same. Like, we came here together. We want to finish this together. I'll take what Kawhi got. Like, no
You was
no
cool with
problem.
that.
I was cool with that. Like,
Wow.
and we were still taking less. We were taking less. Kawhi took less. I was like, if Kawhi gonna take less, I'm not gonna say I want more than Kawhi. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it's not about me being paid more than him. Like, I'm gonna take what he got. Y'all
Right,
give him
right.
that, give me that.
And again, let me just pause one more time here because Tesla was saying, are these in season negotiations? And yes, these were happening in season, which he's going to talk about in a second. We should also say this is 100% from Paul George's POV. I listened to a little bit of Zach Lowe's podcast last night with Chris Herring, and he did mention that what Paul was sharing was pretty similar to what he was hearing from insiders as well. So that, it sounds like this is pretty accurate, but we should sprinkle in the little caveat that this is from the Paul George POV. So maybe it skews to make him look, a little bit better.
They didn't want to do that. So this was before the All-Star break. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want, let's not even have no more conversation. Like, let's just play this year out. Cause it was starting to get into my mood. Now I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to have that energy carry over into the team. Season in, I finished healthy, 74 games played, and had one of my most efficient seasons. So now we go into negotiations. Now they bring it to 3 years.
Where we at?
150. All right. That's cool. It sucks that it had to get to this point, like that we couldn't get this figured out a lot sooner. But now we at the end of the year, 3 years, 150. So I'm like, all right, like now we're in a ballpark. You know what I mean? Now we can have conversation here. I presented the 150 no trade. Cause in the meeting they're like, we want you here long term. We want to, when you're retired, we want you to be a Clippers for a lifetime, like all of this stuff. So I'm like, cool. Give me the 3 years, 150, no trade then.
So I'm going to pause it here for a second because he gets close to the Kawhi deal, right? The 3 years, 150, basically the same offer that Kawhi got. And then he changed his mind a little bit, right? Because he basically was like, I should get the same thing as Kawhi. And then he was like, but I also want a no trade clause in there as well. And I saw a lot of people on the internet, and there's this weird thing that's happening where I think Clippers fans are just kind of like, fuck Paul George. He wasn't that good anyways. I'm glad he's gone, which I think is a weird take when you look at the roster. But a lot of people have been saying that it was like, whoa, dude, he changed his mind. Well, you can't say that that's all you wanted, and then when it comes to it, you change your mind. I think he brings up a really good point, and maybe we have too much with this happened years ago, so maybe people forget. Blake Griffin signs a max deal with the Los Angeles Clippers. They take him around the arena. They show his jersey up in the rafters. We're going to retire your number, Clipper for life. And then I think, what was it, like a year and a half, 2 years later, he's playing for Stan Van Gundy in Detroit alongside Andre Drummond. So if you're Paul George, this is probably your last big contract. If you're signing a 3 to 4 year deal, you're 34 years old right now, you have these injury issues. If you are like, hey, I've seen what you've done before, right? I don't want history to repeat itself. So yeah, sure, I won't take a full max. I'll go 3 years. All I'm saying is I have some say in it if you're going to trade me. And So again, I saw a lot of people going the other way. I don't really. I don't fault him for this, especially with how negotiations started. Anyways, we can finish the clip. Hold on.
No trade clause. Then I now like I'm taking less, but at least I know I'm here. Like I'm committed to y'all. Like they didn't want to do the no trade.
Do that.
Wow. So then now I'm like, all right, well then it only makes sense for me to do 4 years, 212, right? Like at least pay me my money. If y'all gonna trade me, then y'all gonna trade me. But at least like now I'm not in a situation where I could have got more had I just gone to free agency, then take this deal, and then y'all could just ship me wherever I want. And then now I'm on this deal that I didn't want. So they didn't want to do that. So then I was like, now I'm open to entertaining what's out there. And then I mean, you know, through the negotiations, they wasn't budging. They weren't gonna budge. I wasn't gonna budge. I thought I played well enough for them to, you know, be like.
All right, that's basically it from the clip. I just thought that was fascinating. I feel like we don't normally hear this type of stuff. Unless it goes like horribly wrong, we usually don't hear things like this. So I thought that was pretty fascinating to hear. And I also I can appreciate too that he was like no ill will, like it ran its course, all that stuff. Like it didn't sound like he was hurt by it. It was just kind of like, okay, if this is how you are going to handle things, then in turn I have to handle it this way. And it sounds like from the Clippers' perspective, because I saw Tesla's comment, wonder if this was more Ballmer or Lawrence Frank. From what they were like reporting on it, it sounded like it was kind of both. Like Ballmer is now, or so maybe it is more Ballmer, but balking a little bit at spending, not like full Prokhorov, with the guy from the Nets who made all of those deals for Paul George and KG and then decided to stop paying people. I don't think it's fully that, but I think some of these owners and management are in a weird spot right now, or just like scared of this collective bargaining agreement, which I wonder if the fact that we're talking so much about the CBA and the second apron and all that bullshit, I want that. Maybe this is a different conversation, but is this just like bad for basketball that this is what we talk about now? Well, we can't re-sign our star because, well, if it gets above the first apron, then it affects the second apron, and then what about a third? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's good that this is why we're talking about it, but yeah, Tessa says given Paul George's 150 million is 0.0012% of his net worth. No, I mean I get it, dude. But it does seem like that was the concern about like roster construction moving forward. But to let Paul George go and then not get anything back. And again, we can now look at we did this yesterday a little bit, but if we look at the Clippers roster right now, it's and they don't have any of their picks, right? So they have a pick swap with OKC this coming year. And then OKC just flat out has an unprotected pick the next year. And then OKC has a pick swap with, and then I think Philly has a pick swap with them in 3 years or something like that. So they're in a weird spot to not get anything back for Paul George. And now to run out with Kawhi Leonard, who, if you're a Clippers fan, man, your buttholes are tight watching Kawhi play for Team USA, and we're going to talk about the Olympics in a second. But if he misses a substantial amount of time, and this is also going to transition to talking about Team USA, and you look at this upcoming draft, I mean, Cooper Flagg went out there yesterday as a 17-year-old who I think is like the first time anyone who's never played in a college game before played for the select team, which the select team is a bunch of usually young NBA players who play against Team USA to scrimmage to get them ready for the Olympics, and like went out there and balled yesterday. And the Clippers now are like a Kawhi Leonard hamstring away from this being like aggressively in the lottery. And I won't go through the entire Western Conference again like we did yesterday. If you want to do that, go ahead and listen to yesterday's episode, whether in podcast form or replay form. But they're a hamstring away from this potentially being like a top 5, top 6 pick. And then all of a sudden you look at shit, right? Imagine they win the lottery and it's like SGA, Chet Holmgren, J-Dub, and Cooper Flagg now on the roster. Mr. Getoff says, do you think Lowry is joining my Warriors? No, I don't think you have the I just don't think I don't think your package is sexy enough. And then you can go ahead and clip that and mess around with it. I just don't think it makes it makes sense for them to do it. And I think what Danny Ainge did was they saw Mikal Bridges get moved for 47 first-round picks from the New York Knicks. And he was like, oh, maybe we can get that. Also, Mr. Getoff, do you want Lauri Markkanen? Do you think that makes you that much better? What does that make you, a 6 seed in the West? Is that what you're hoping for here? Like, I can't even understand what the Warriors want moving forward. I mean, I guess you're just trying to make your team as competitive as possible. Wow, Drew NFTV says, according to new poll, 91% of people are satisfied with their lives. The other 9%. Oh, wait, are Los Angeles Clippers fans. That's great. That's great. Mr. Getoff, so you feel, so because in that deal, right, in that deal, you're losing, because you're going to have to re-sign Lauri Markkanen to a max, right? Because he's going to get, or close to a max. So for that trade to happen, you're going to lose Kuminga, Wiggins, right, to make the salary work, probably Moody, and a handful of picks, right? So now your roster, so you've got Steph Curry, Podziemski, and all of the picks too that I haven't mentioned. Melton, Draymond, Lowry. You're not better than Denver. I mean, I guess 5. Yeah, I guess you could say maybe you're top 5. I think I would still take that Memphis roster over you guys. I mean, are you better than Phoenix? And I don't even like Phoenix. I just feel like that's mortgaging a lot. But I guess now you're weighing the two things, right? Is it more important for Golden State to get knocked out in the first round, maybe make it to the second round, and just kind of be competitive with Steph Curry for the rest of his career, and then just be terrible for the next 10 years after that? Or do you try to actually make your team good in like 4 years, 5 years? I don't know. Mr. Getoff said it could definitely work. We can re-sign him. I think there is no way they'll get him for... Yeah, no, they're not going to do it for 1 year. You're definitely going to have to re-sign him. But we'll see. I just know Danny Ainge is going to... Danny Ainge is going to want to tank aggressively. So maybe because he wants to try to get that number 1 pick, right? Because if you have a shot at Cooper Flagg, I mean, Cooper Flagg seems like he's going to be the real deal. Let's actually talk about Cooper Flagg here for a second, and then we can go back. I'm just going to share some clips from him yesterday. And again, this was, I just think it was like the internet. The internet kind of went nuts yesterday when these highlights were happening in real time. I don't know how much of you saw it. And yeah, Tesla, a white dude in Utah. Are you kidding me? The 2-man game between Kyle Fulkowski and Cooper Flagg, both Duke grads, maybe both groomed. Let's go over here. Let's see. This is the first one KOC shared. Jumper right over AD. Then gets back on defense. Forces the turnovers, coming back up. Missed shot by Keegs. Cooper flies up, throws it down. And one. Cooper was just kind of all over the place. We got this jumper that everybody was excited about here. Over Drew Holiday. And then oh wait, that's the one we just saw. Was that it? I think that was basically it. Yeah, that was basically it. Anyways, really like a future net. There you go, Jay Blaze. There you go. But I do think so. To go back to Lauri Markkanen for a second, I do think the Jazz are going to try to lose as much as they can. And when we look at the tanking teams, right? When we look at the tanking teams in the West, there's not as many as normal. So it's probably Portland. You're going to see some tanking, although Portland still has not competitive roster. I just think it's going to be hard for them to lose all of those games unless they, go out of their way to trade Simons or hope DeAndre Ayton gets hurt or something like that. But let's throw the Blazers in there. The Spurs adding Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes with Victor Wembanyama turning into a Superman. They're going to be too good. They're not going to be tanking. It's really just the Jazz and the Blazers, right? Because I think the Rockets are too competitive. The Grizzlies are too competitive. The Spurs. And that's why I was saying when you look at the West, it's going to be very easy for the Clippers to fall into the lottery. It's going to be very easy for Golden State probably doesn't fall into the lottery, but it's going to be very easy to do in there. Really, Spurs and Blazers. Tesla, I don't think the Spurs. You think this? I don't think the Spurs are going to be that bad. I think they're going to end up in the lottery, but when we're talking about getting the top pick in the overall draft, I don't see it because I just think they're going to win too many games. And then you look at the East. Now the Raptors. I mentioned this yesterday, and then I saw. I saw Masai's. It sounds like that through that press conference that the Raptors aren't going to be trying to lose games. You said they're not rushing to get good around Wemby. I'm telling you, Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, Stephen Castle, Harrison Barnes, and Wemby. They're going to win more games than most of those teams. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, by the way, but I think they're going to be closer to the 10 seed than the 14 seed. You know what I'm saying? I think the Blazers and the Jazz are going to be considerably worse than those two teams. But when we go to the East, the Raptors, it sounds like they're not going to be trying to tank as aggressively. So obviously, you got Celtics, Knicks, Bucks, Cavs, Magic, Pacers, Sixers, Heat, and then the Hawks and Raptors, I guess, are going to try a little bit more because the Hawks don't have their first-round pick, which if the Hawks end up being very bad, their first-round pick originally was with the Pelicans and now is with I forget who has the Hawks first round pick now. I forget who has it. If somebody knows it in the chat, let me know. The Spurs. Oh my God, the Spurs have that first round pick now. So the Spurs don't even have to tank because they can watch Atlanta be bad. Oh my God. But anyways, you get the Bulls trying to be bad, right? The Bulls have offloaded a bunch of their roster. It sounds like LaVine. I imagine by December, LaVine and Vooch are either traded or just not playing regularly for the Bulls. The Brooklyn Nets are going to be very bad. The Charlotte Hornets are probably going to be better than those two teams we just listed, but are still not going to be great. And then you have the Wizards and the Pistons who are both going to be bad. And I think like the last couple of years, we have seen teams not really tank, like Utah, for example, right? Utah in the first half of the year have been very competitive. And then all of a sudden in February, they're like, hey, Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, why don't you guys go for a walk? Here's some money, go shopping, do something fun. Lauri Markkanen, how's your back? It's bad. You should sit down, right? And then all of a sudden, Keontae George and Omer Yurtseven are out there playing two-man games. So I think we're going to see teams start to do that much earlier in the year because especially fresh off of this past draft where everybody was like, ooh, I think people are going to aggressively go for Cooper Flagg here. So we'll see. Mr. Getoff, let me catch up on the chat. Said based on the reports, the Warriors have the best offer on the table, but we all know this could change. Yeah, the Spurs, the Pelicans, there's an OKC. They're not going to do it. OKC is not going to do it, but they have just so many assets too. And yeah, Tesla, you're right. If the Spurs turn around, maybe they could just go ahead and shut it down. So that accounts for all the best odds of the new flat lottery, right? Yeah. So the top four have the best shot at the number one pick. But it's flat between 1 through 4. And then after that, it gets a little bit not scarier, but we saw it last year, right, with Atlanta and Houston. So we'll see. Yeah, as Matty Harrison says, screw your lottery odds. You guys have picked 5th for the last 45 years. But anyways, that's exciting. I think it's going to make weirdly, I think that kind of tanking will make the league a little bit more fun this year. Just because there'll be some real hype, similar to what there was for Wemby. And so it gives teams at the bottom a little bit more love. Maddie, maybe you needed to be this bad this long for the Detroit Pistons so that you could get Cooper Flagg, SAG for Flagg is what I've been seeing on the internet. Drew says 6 seasons, 6 different champs. Don't think that's ever happened before. Yeah, it feels like we're gonna be seeing. I don't know if that's never happened before, but that sounds right. It seems like we'll continue to see that again. Everybody drink because of the collective bargaining agreement that will have teams kind of not. It's just we're going to see more turnover. I think it's going to be hard to keep juggernauts together, right? Because we saw the Denver Nuggets. Like they seem to be wilting away a little bit, right? I think they still could have made it to the finals this year. So I don't think this year should be like, oh, they gave up, but they lost Bruce Brown. They didn't really have any replacements. Now they lose KCP. The only addition they've made is Dario Saric. So I don't know. Maybe we continue to see that. Celtics will be an interesting case study since they brought most of their team back, even though they're going to be without Porzingis until January. We'll see if they still got that dog in them as they try to repeat. But okay, there's one other thing I wanted to hit. I saw a story. I want to give some credit. Who was it that wrote it? Steph No from Sporting News, I believe, is the one who wrote this. I'll share. Oh, Stephen No, excuse me. I'll share the link into the chat in case people want to read it at another time. I'm not going to go over. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. But actually, before I do that, I just saw that comment from Mr. Getoff. No, we've been saying that Denver. I wouldn't say way worse. I think they're still going to be better than the top 4. I mean, better than top 5. Like they'll probably be 4th in the West, but they're definitely not. I mean, they lost They lost a starter and they replaced with Dario Sarge, so they definitely got worse. It depends on how much belief you have in Christian Brown and Peyton Watson to make another step and fill that KCP role. But they lost a lot of shooting. But anyways, this piece was about Zach LaVine and how just titled "The Narrative is Out of Control: Why Bulls Stars is a better trade candidate than portrayed." And I think a lot of this is coming through the lack of trades happening for LaVine, right? There was the report of the Warriors that it was like Chris Paul and Kuminga for Zach LaVine. I think that was the trade. And the Warriors were like, no. And that's because of the two things. LaVine's contract is massive, right? He's going to be making 50 plus million a year. He's had some crazy injury stuff, but there was a couple of quotes in it, and mainly in the initial tweet from Steph. I said, next time you hear that Zach LaVine is a losing player, consider this. 72 of his 101 teammates are completely out of the league. And you just think about some of the teams that he's been on, right? The Hoiberg Bulls. Was he on Hoiberg Bulls? I think he was. Or maybe no. Yeah, I think he got a year with them. But you just think of like the rosters that have been around him. And then the one chance at him like making a jump was the Lonzo Ball Bulls, right? Where Lonzo was healthy. They got the Lonzo Caruso backcourt. You got LaVine and DeRozan, Vooch in the middle. And they seem like, I don't think anybody really thought Chicago was going to win the chip or anything like that, but they were a competitive winning team that probably would have gotten through a round or two in the playoffs. And then injury hit them like right away. Tesla says, are people also a little down on the pure scorer and not much else prototype, i.e. LaVine or Gary Trent Jr. type? I think Gary Trent Jr. is more of I think they're kind of in no man's land, right? Because teams don't want, for Gary Trent Jr. specific, teams don't want to spend as much on a player like that because of the new CBA drink. But conversely, I think Gary Trent Jr., and rightfully so, is like, wait, why are my offers this low? You know? And so I think we're at this like weird crossroads where those players deserve more money. I mean, we saw it happen with Caleb Martin, right? Like Caleb Martin definitely fumbled the bag by not taking that extension, but he thought they were going to hit the open market, right? The new media deal, the contracts going up. But unfortunately, it was real capitalism shit where the rich got richer and the working man got shut down. I think Caleb Martin thought he was going to get a little bit more money, and he didn't. I think that's close to what's happening with GTJ. The LaVine score, I think the contract / health stuff scares people a little bit more because you look at the other people that are going to be making 50 plus million a year. And I think you probably put LaVine a notch below them, right? Because who do you think was a better Chicago Bull during this stretch? DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine? You know? And I think a lot of people would say DeRozan, right? And LaVine's making like 25, 30 million more than LaVine. And I mean, less than LaVine is making 25, 30 more a year than DeRozan. And so, and I don't know, maybe people wouldn't have said that prior to the signings of LaVine and prior to what we've seen from DeRozan the last couple of years, right? Because I think like Chicago DeRozan has done really like a lot for his brand. I think all of a sudden people are like, oh, DeRozan's a pretty good playmaker, huh? We've seen him knock down some threes, stuff like that. I don't know. But I think a lot of people would say DeRozan. So Boston Base is just throwing some chat GPT stuff into the questions. How do you anticipate exterior elements such as weather conditions and travel disruptions will impact the NBA season this year? Probably not much. Bad Boys 4. I'm not going to answer that. You know what I did watch though, over the weekend? I watched the Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop. Did you guys watch that? Did you guys watch that at all? It's on Netflix. I think they did a premiere for it too. But did you guys watch it on Netflix? I got to tell you guys, I was ready for that to be bad. And it was awesome. I loved it so much. So you guys should go watch it, okay? What was it? It was the Beverly. They did like a remake, not a remake, but a sequel version of Beverly Hills Cop like 40 years later. And it's like his daughter's involved. There's a lot of cameos in it. It was excellent. And it was like a fun throwback. Like, don't go in there being like, is this going to win an Oscar? No, it's not. But it was great. It was really, really great. And now I'm rewatching Lost, guys. I'm locked in. John locked in. Is Taggart good in it? Taggart is, I needed to Google it. He was very old, man. He just seemed old, but he was good. He was good. Patrick Coyne says he watched Vegas Vacation as a primer for the trip. Changing 500? Yeah, dude, I'm ready for Vegas, man. You know how I know? My algorithm has started showing me poker reels on Instagram. I am locked in. I'm watching poker reels and Tim Naki on Instagram, and that's it. That's it. If you guys don't know Tim Naki, look it up. It's hilarious. It's just an Aussie guy saying crazy shit while he's gambling a lot on the internet, and it's fun. I enjoy it. That's the type of content I need after listening to 7 hours of basketball podcasts a day. But anyways, that's what I'm watching these days. So anyways, to put a button on the Zach LaVine stuff, that's it. That's it. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I imagine someone eventually takes a chance on shut up, Mamma Mia. Take a chance on Zach. I imagine at some point LaVine gets an opportunity in there, but I think LaVine gets traded at some point. Yeah, I think they will. Either that or he's going to, because the other option is Chicago's like, hey man, we're going to bench you, because they really have to lose games. Although maybe they can lose enough games with LaVine being good. Sorry, man. Do you think Lonzo? They kind of made it seem like Lonzo's not coming back. They made it seem like they're not going to bring him back. But also Kobe White, baby. I think they like Kobe White. Let me actually look up because Kobe's still young. Kobe, let's see. How old is Kobe White? 24. So I think Kobe White's only 24. And honestly, Kobe was their second best player last year. I thought DeRozan and Kobe White. Mr. Getoff says, I think if the Warriors miss out on Laurie Ingram, they will have to take a chance on LaVine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they can get Ingram, honestly, because I don't think they like. I think Lowry is the guy everybody wants, and then I think that there's a big drop off to Ingram because I don't think you want to, because Ingram wants that. I'd rather pay Lowry than I would Ingram. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know where Ingram. I was listening to Bill Simmons and Russillo talk about that a little bit, where they just can't find a landing spot for Ingram. I was still pretty hyped on Ingram for 8, and I still love that trade, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But the Pels need to figure out something, because either Ingram's going to be, you're either going to lose him for nothing because you're not going to re-sign him on that max or the money that he wants, unless the market's just shifted that much. I don't know. Bowdivine says Detroit. Yeah, I don't know why Detroit would do it, though, because they'd have to give up a big. I don't think they want to give up Duren. Tessa says, do you think with the historic levels of tanking because of the new CBA and teams wanting young and cheap players, do you think we see that? Is that what you mean? I do think we're going to see it this year. But I think there's just a clear divide on who's good and not good. I think what could be interesting is watching the West, and if like the Lakers have their first round pick next year, right? Like if LeBron, LeBron is going to be fucking 40 halfway through this season. If LeBron all of a sudden, has a groin injury again and misses a ton of games, or AD, right? Because LeBron and AD both played like 150 plus games combined last year. If you see that happen, I don't know. All of a sudden, maybe they slip into the lottery and they're like, hey, maybe this is our chance. We shut it down now. Go get Cooper Flagg if we can. Because again, I just think that West is going to be too competitive because the Grizzlies aren't going to be bad. Somebody from the current top 10 of OKC, Denver, Timberwolves, Clippers, Mavs, Suns, Lakers, Pels, Kings, Warriors, one or two of those teams are going to be in the lottery, like deep in the lottery. Because I think the Rockets are going to step up, and I think the Grizzlies step up, and I think the Spurs are just going to win more games. Yeah, then we'll see. Then we'll get the Bronny resurgence. Fuck, Snoop. You got us to talk about Bronny. Gosh darn it. Tried hard not to do it. Tried. Yeah, is there let me see if I can, let's see if we can find the 2025 NBA draft prospects. Let's see. When did this come out? The last thing I see was a day ago. Bleacher Report with a big board. Let's share screen for the big board here. Yeah, W for you, Snoop, L for me. All right, here we go. Let's get this out of here. There's Cooper Flagg right there. So we got Cooper Flagg, the Duke. Dylan Harper, Rutgers. Wow, you don't really see Rutgers college basketball talk too much these days. Ace Bailey, another Rutgers guy. Rutgers has two of the top 3, excuse me. Hugo Gonzalez from Real Madrid. I did see some Hugo love. VJ. I saw some VJ love this week too from his Bahamas performance. Where's he playing for Baylor? Nolan. I haven't heard of Nolan from St. Quentin. We got Trey Johnson, little TJ from Texas. Drake Powell from North Kakalaki. Asa Newell. Carter Knox. There we go. All right. So there's some names. Yeah. So I do. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, Tesla. Maybe they start the tanking engines a little bit earlier. I was trying to write this morning because we got up early for work today, guys. I was trying to write a script for a video over on The Ball is Life about the tank. So we'll see. Weisberg, wow, 24 hours till Vegas for you. I still can't believe you're going on Wednesday. Malak from the center is the center from Duke. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Summer League, guys. Yeah, now's the time to remind people about that. I got to take these headphones off. These are warm. All right, so for the Team Hold Brigade, I'm getting out there on Thursday. No plans on Thursday, just to get after it. Friday, we're going to do some Summer League during the day probably, and then in the afternoon at the 4 p.m., going to the No Dunk Show at the MGM, and then probably getting into some debauchery Friday night. Saturday, some more Summer League, followed by Beer Park at 4 p.m. Although, you know what? We might end up moving that to an indoor location. If it continues to be a million degrees, we might have to find, like, I know Beer Park does a good job of those misters. Like, it kind of feels nice out there, but there's not enough mist in the world if it's 120 degrees. And then more Summer League the rest of the way. But those are the two things that we got going on. Oh, Cam Boozer. We could get Carlos Boozer's son. I would love to see that. Yeah, we'll miss you, Jay Blaze. We got to get you out there at some point. We need a New York hang. That's what we need to do. I know there's enough of you in the tri-state area. We need some New York energy. I tried to do it with the 89 Cavs show, but we'll do something again. Maybe in the fall. Maybe opening night we do something. I don't know. We'll have to think about it. We'll think about something. Anyways, excited for Summer League. Just a reminder, we'll do something later in the day tomorrow. Hopefully another video is coming out on one of the Balls Life video either today or tomorrow. And then no NBA bit on Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, because we'll be out of Vegas. But I've got some fun video content, some short form stuff planned while we're out there. Justin and I were scheming up some things last night, so it should be fun. Ooh, Mr. Get Off wants a prediction for Summer League champs. Yeah, the Jazz. Honestly, yeah, probably the Jazz. But the Jazz the thing with Summer League champs is they only play their young guys for like the first handful of days, right? Although maybe not this year because there's no like superstar studs that anybody's worried about. I don't know. The Jazz is a good call. Who won it last year? Did the Rockets win it last year? Kings, maybe? Yeah, maybe we get Jordan Walsh, Summer League MVP for the Celtics. Sure, we'll bet on that. The Kings. Oh, yeah, Keon Ellis. Oh, you know what? Little Keon Ellis hype. Zach Lowe and Chris Herring were talking about Keon Ellis as maybe the 5th starter, which I kind of like that. I kind of like the Keon Ellis breakout year. That's fun. Oh, yeah, there we go. Nets. I like that, Jay Blaze. I like that we get to shout out some bad teams here. But anyways, I think that's it. I think we're going to call it there. 2 productive shows this week, guys. I don't know if you feel that way, but I thought yesterday's show was excellent, and I like today's show too. I think we got some good. I think the the few days off was good for me. I think I'm ramped up and ready to go. So I hope you guys are ramped up and ready to go because we have to be aggressive. Be aggressive this offseason with the content, okay? So go tell everybody you know to join the playback room. We picked up 12 more the last week or so, which is exciting. Oh, Mr. Getoff, hell yeah. Wait, is this the first time you saw us, Mr. Getoff? Where did you find us? Did you find us through playback? Just because we were live? Hell yeah, dude. The homepage? Hell yeah. Sorry, this is just a conversation with me and Mr. Getoff right now. Getting me off. You know what I'm saying? God, I apologize if you're gonna leave now. Wait, what pages do you typically watch? What channels do you typically watch? I've been watching some fun ones. I've been checking out obviously the Dunker Spot. I got the Ball one is great. If you guys don't watch Ball is great. And then I forget what the other one was. Chasing Winds I've checked out. Light Years Pod. Those are pretty good. Yeah, just the Warrior stuff, Lakers and football, soccer. Oh, cool. Cool. Hell yeah, man. All right, guys. Well, hey, that was a good meeting. Yeah, good meeting. All right. Hope everybody has a good rest of the day. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We will be back tomorrow afternoon. We'll do like a little happy hour action or something. All right. Have a great